Hello and welcome to our brand new JuNEWary challenge. Brilliant name, I know. So we have a new piece to look at this month. We're going to have videos that are going to cover the first, let me think, about 11 days. Then you've got a couple of days to put it all together. And then we're going to have our live Zoom on the evening of the 14th of June. So sit back, buckle up, and let's get ready for the ride. We have a gorgeous new piece. I say that every time I do one of these months. We are so blessed with the music that becomes available to us for this work. I am delighted to share this brand new piece with you by the fantastic composer and performer Karen Marshall-Say, and it's called The Laid. You need to look that up because I'm going to get it wrong now, but I think it's like a working mill. So it's all to do with water, and yeah, it's really beautiful. I'm going to start by playing it all the way through for you, as I always do, and then we will buckle down and have a look at today's section. Okay, it's in C major. Just sit back and enjoy for the moment. Isn't it beautiful? Okay, so without further ado, we will go into our first day. What I've really enjoyed in learning this piece is the kind of fascinating options with fingering. And sometimes what you're going to find is that early doors, I'm going to do some fingering, not so much today, but when we get into tomorrow, I'm going to do some fingering in there that you might go, why that fingering? And it's more that when that phrase comes back later, that fingering is going to make the whole piece more comfortable to do because of what else is happening in the other hand. And so we want to set it up with that fingering from the get-go so that it becomes what your hand automatically wants to do. So bear with me sometimes if you're a little bit, why has she gone with that? Fingering, of course, is an entirely personal choice. I just like to use it to help myself. And I definitely found, especially in the places where there's some offbeat left hand going on, that if I thought carefully and made good use of what finger was happening in my top hand, it could help me with my timing in my left hand because of how it married up with what finger was happening where. We'll get into that. So let's have a look. We've got 8 bars today. Very gentle, I would say. We'll take our time because it feels busier later on. We're starting mezzo piano. We're going to crescendo to mezzo forte and then come back to mezzo piano and then mezzo forte. So we're fairly low, middling volume. We're not going to be too extremely loud at this point or too extremely quiet, but we do want to have that subtle difference. The left hand for here is these fifths. Da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. I like doing 3 and 1 on these, at least to start with. I was tempted at first to go 4 and 2 because I do quite like doing that shape. And actually by the 3rd bar, because it's a bit lower down, 4 and 2 felt more comfortable. But then on the 2nd line, we've got to come back. So the 3 and the 1 then becomes really helpful. So 3 and 1 at the beginning on the D and the A. All below middle C at the moment, and we go 3, 1, and it's da, da, 2, 3, 4. Then we just take it down a step to the C and G and da, da. And then the next one's going to be a G and D, so we're a bit lower, and maybe try this with the 4 and 2. It'll come in handy in line 2. Like that, just nicely bending in, keeping our thumb nice and high. Then our left hand actually jumps over the top of the melody and plays a C and an E up here, an octave above middle C. And that's one of our mezzo piano moments, a very gentle part there. Okay, and then when we go into line 2, the left hand back to 3, 1, the same notes it started with in bar 1, but this time we're going to come back to it. So the timing here will be 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Okay, so I'll count you in, try that. It's on the D and the A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2, 3. Oh, I went wrong. Didn't put it on the and. Let's try again. D and A. So it'll be 1 and 2 and. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Brilliant. Then we take it down a step. Similar pattern, but it's actually going to go to the middle note of what would be the triad there. So instead of coming back to the C, like we just went back to finger 3 in the other part, we're going to go C, G, and then on to an E. Okay, but the same timing. Try that bar. Okay, so C and G, and then we're going to come on to the E. We won't place it yet because at the minute we're heading up from that C to the G, and this 2 would be in the middle. And if it was already on, we'll want to play it like that, or our brain will have to work really hard to go, no, don't play that one even as though it's in order. So we'll leave it off, and then we can come on. Okay, so let's try that together with our left hand. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3. Brilliant. It's almost easier when the other hand's in because it fills in puts things on the beats for us as well. Bar 3 is actually an octave and a fifth, what I often call one of those. So we've got a G octave now with the D in the middle. And this is why it's handy if you had done 4, 2 in the first line for those notes, it'll become natural for you to reach 4, 2 here, and then our thumb's ready as well. Same timing, we'll try it together. G, D, G, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Good. And then we've got an A and an E just together as a chord. You can either do that with 1 and 3, but we are going to be leaping up, so I might do that because it's just 1 up. I might do that with a 2 and 4 and really work neatly on closing in, and then I can just leap up with my thumb or my finger too, but probably my thumb to that E. Okay, so that's the left hand in a nutshell. The top hand has got these little phrases. They look like they're crossing the bar because of the note carrying on. So our first tiny little snippet is the D, F, E. So we want to make sure that we're placing through these phrases so that they sound connected, so that they belong to each other. So we have the D to the F, and then we're going to move that finger 2 to the E before we play the F, get a lovely strong F, and then we can complete that mini phrase. Okay, next one is C to E to F, so we'll need 3, 2 and 1 for this, all in the same sort of area, so that's middle C, and we'll go 3, 2, and then there'll be a 1. We'll talk about timing in a bit. And then either side of middle C, we've got the B to the D, and then we're going to come back down to a B, A. So I'm going to play my B, and then I'm going to put 2 and 3 on before I play my thumb, and then I can come down. And notice how my hand is nicely over those strings, so it's really easy to pull those fingers in and get a nice closure to that sound. Okay, so that's our first port of call there. The second part, we'll ignore the harmonic for a moment. The second line is the same thing again, D, F to E, and then C, E to F, and then the B, D, B, A. So going back on. Lovely, so it's all feeling connected. We'll do the timing on that next, and then we'll mention the harmonic. So timing really comes from putting it together with the other hand, because although those notes happen in the melody hand as we think of it, it's really following on from our left hand leading in. So it's ya, da, da, da. Okay, let me do that without me talking over it. It goes like this. And. Okay, if you feel how it went through. So I'll do that again, and this time I'm going to count over the top of it to give you a feel of what's going on. It's really hanging on for that last quaver of the bar. And it's like that last quaver, although it's the end of this little statement, it's dropping us into the next one. Okay, so timing wise, I'll count it this time. You don't necessarily have to play, you can just listen and maybe follow it on the part. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Should we try it together? I know this is quite fast. There will be a play along video as well where we'll do it at different speeds. So if this pace is too fast, don't worry, because when you go along to the play along video, there'll be a really slow version as well as faster ones as well, to give you that idea. Okay, so we'll try it together if you wish. Just that first line, I'll do a tiny bit slower. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and that's it. So really allowing the gap before beat 3. So in that's the second note of the right hand part, allowing the and before that lands, and then waiting 3 and 4 and boom, and then being ready with the next bar. So in our left hand, we really want to be thinking about moving to wherever's next. When we finish with the DA, it can be sitting ready on the C and G while this hand carries on playing, so that it's there. We can get this ready. You have to be a bit careful here because we're going on to a D next to a vibrating red string, so just nice and firm. And then being ready to leap up here so that we can do our lovely chord above. Okay, if we look at the second line, in a way this will help with that pause before beat 3. It's not a pause, but that timing of allowing the space before beat 3, because the left hand is now filling in the and. Okay, I'll play it for you first. This is line 2. It goes 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay, so it fills in that time. It's easier to play without actually doing the counting over the top, but it just fills in between. Don't overthink this second line, because there's only one extra note in the left hand. That's all it is, and it's giving us that and, it's giving us that timing. So treat it as a helpful support rather than, oh goodness, it's gone tricky. Okay, how you choose to think about it will really help in your success at playing it. Okay, so let's try gently playing that line, and you can join in if you wish, remembering there's a play along video which will go slower again. So just starting on line 2, I'm ignoring the tied over note. That first crotchet is tied on, that happened before, and I'm going to get my right hand ready on the D and the F. My left hand's got the D and the A at the bottom. I'll count you in. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 4 and 4 and 4, 2, 3, and then an E in the left hand there. Okay, well done. So obviously some work to do putting that together. In a way, other than being comfortable, okay, my left hand's playing that, don't do too much hands apart on this, because it's the putting it together that makes this the piece. It's yum ba dee da dum. You don't, your audience and your listeners, whoever they are, whether it's your cat or your dog, or whether it's a paying seated audience, they don't want to know which hand has played what. They don't want to be able to tell that, oh yes, that was the left hand, and oh, there's the right hand. They just want to hear the music. So our job is to have a consistency of sound across both hands, and to allow the flow and the feel of the notes to be, I'm saying the same thing, be the same. So yum ba dee dum. So part of that is about our intention. So if we intend that this is a full phrase between the two hands, yum ba dee da dum, and we hear that in our own head as one continuous phrase, we're much more likely to offer that up in our playing, and it will come across then to our listeners. The final element for today then is this harmonic at the end of line 1, right hand harmonic. You'll see it's in brackets, so it's optional. Okay, so harmonics are played on the note that's written, but they create a sound that's about an octave up. Is an octave up, and a bell-like quality. It's quite different from just plucking a note an octave up, and we achieve it by applying pressure at the halfway point of the string. Now I've got a lever on, so the halfway point of my string is from where that lever touches to where it goes through my soundboard at the base. Okay, nothing to do with up here. Could be the bridge pin if it didn't have a lever on, but because it's got the lever on, it's from there to there. And we just have to gauge this with our eyes, and it's roughly there for me. So my knuckle of my right hand is applying quite a bit of pressure to that string at that roughly halfway point, and then I'm going to pluck above it. And as I pluck, a bit like snapping your fingers, I'm going to release the string. So there's a pluck and a release that are within a split second of each other. Okay, now if you're not hearing a sound like that, and I'm hoping that the mics are picking this up, it might be that you're a little bit too low or a little bit too high. So literally just adjust up a bit or down a bit, and quite small fractions of movement will make a difference. That's not getting it, but there it is. Okay, it's a very different sound. And even those of us that have been playing for 36 years or more, will still hit and miss them. You know, we don't guarantee to land perfectly on that string. A little cheat, if you really want to, is to take a pencil or a pen, and to mark up, literally just put a mark on your string at your side of it, and I mark where does my thumb go, because the gap between my thumb and my knuckle is always the same. So I would go, right, my thumb needs to go there, and I would just put a bit of pencil marking on. The nice thing about doing it with something like a pencil is it will actually rub off quite quickly. So I've made the smallest of marks on there. I've done this many times and it's never caused any damage to my strings, but obviously do it at your own risk, as it were. And then I've got oh right, yeah, I know where I'm going. The other thing is that I've got a tiny mark on my wall just beyond it, which happens to be where I want my thumb to go anyway, with where I'm currently seated. So that can help too, just using markers around you as well. Okay, keep breathing, enjoy, come along to the play along video where I will do a really gentle, slow video. And maybe don't come along yet, work on the part first. get yourself comfortable with, right, I'm moving there, this is where the hands are going. Start to think about that. Am I making it joined up? Have I got good placing? Making it sound joined up? Am I doing a little bit of a getting louder where it gets louder and then dropping back again and then being that little bit louder? Is my hand moving to where it wants to do? And then a bit later on today, come along to the play along video and then have a go at playing along with me at whichever speed feels the most comfortable for you. And do listen to the ones that are too fast for you, that feel too fast just yet. Listen and enjoy those, just as a internalizing, yep, this is where I'm aiming for. That said, speed is a personal thing. You know, unless you're playing this with others, you're in charge of what speed you take it at. If you want it to be incredibly slow, so long as you own it and make it sound beautiful still, then you go for your life. That's absolutely fine. And if you are very, very confident and you can play super fast and you're already sight reading that, and that's great, brilliant, good for you, come along to the play along videos anyway and make yourself play along at the really slow speed and use that as an opportunity to really think about how you're placing your fingers, how you're closing up, how you're finishing off your sound, and really enjoy having the space to do that whilst continuing the beat. And then by all means then play the faster ones and enjoy too. Super. I'll see you over there. Well done.